What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John, and this is the Debrief. Yes, people, what is going on? This is the Debrief. I'm going to go straight over to John. You heard my match reaction yesterday, John. Go.
Yeah, disappointing, mate, to go out the FA Cup. You know, it was our last chance of winning something if we were ever going to win it. You know, our last season at Goodison Park. So disappointing to go out against a decent Bournemouth team. You know, some good individual players. Semenya, mate, as a player, tore us a new one first half. Stupid penalty to give away by Tarkowski. I thought he had a horrendous 45 minutes at least. Not sure if the second goal comes from him trying to play the ball out long. I'm not sure if that was him. I've just watched it back. Stupid penalty to give away. They put us under pressure, basically, from the first whistle in the first half. We did come into it the second half. Thought Alcaraz put a good performance in when he come on. Thought Harrison was okay. But, yeah, disappointing, mate. It feels like... I feel today like I did a couple of weeks ago under the previous manager, and I know it's one defeat, and we have won 3 league games on the bounce, but it's disappointing without the FA Cup, mate.
Yeah, completely agree. And there were certain things yesterday that literally rang alarm bells for me. The balls into the channels going long. There was loads more long balls yesterday, and we're playing into Beto, who we know can't hold up a ball. You know, he's been fine running onto a ball, but even yesterday he struggled with the pace of the 2 centre halves that they've got. So Beto was really never in the game. Our biggest threat was Ndai, and he did okay. You know, I don't know what more he could have done yesterday, if I'm being honest. He got on the ball, he would beat players, and he'd either cross or get a shot off. I can't. And you're right, the first half was really poor. You know, we can see two goals, awful goals. Tarkowski, to be honest, I'm not limiting it to 45 minutes. I thought he was awful all game. I thought his positional sense was all game. And we've criticised him at times at the start of this season as well. We knew he had an injury, but we said how poor he was. And look, I'm not going to sit here and rip the players, because I think we've won 4 in 6. Or whatever it works out to. So I'm not gonna crucify the players, but the facts are yesterday was not good enough. It was disappointing, and I think a lot of those players probably come off that pitch yesterday going, "Yeah, well, I had a bad game," because Tarkowski, I thought Lindstrom didn't add as much as he had. I've seen Garner have better performances, as in Ladrissa Garner guy. I thought James Garner, his performance was good, but his corners were awful. You know, I thought, especially in the first half, he really wanted to get on the board. He was putting tackles in, and then second half, he went a bit quiet, and the corners were shocking. Was shocking, you know. And you know, you've got a set piece in there. You've got to fix that. I mean, if you can't beat the first man from a corner, what's the point of a set piece coach? You go and do under 16s training at a local Sunday league. I mean, it's appalling, unbelievable to not beat a first man 4 times in a row or whatever it was. You're right, Alcaraz almost scores, lovely free kick. He's clearly got good feet, clearly can win a free kick. Happy to get on the ball, exactly what we need. Decore, I really don't want to keep seeing Everton managers starting these players. And I actually thought Jack Harrison did a better job than Lindstrom when he was on the pitch. So that could be the debrief. Literally, I could shut the shop now. That's it. But thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe. But it was disappointing yesterday. Rattled me. I must say, rattled me.
Yeah, mentioning Ndai there. I was just watching the highlights back, and I think there was quite early in the game where he put the, I think he had the ball near the byline,
yeah.
You know, he actually. He muscled the opposition off the ball, and he picked it up and he ran into the box, and he was unlucky there. Jake O'Brien had a header, somehow the keeper saved that. You know, it could have went to 2-2. 2-2 would have been an injustice for Bournemouth, in my opinion. And Ndai can't do it all on his own. And you mentioned Beto there, the way we played yesterday. There was a lot more high balls, and listen, we were creaming our kecks over Beto's performance last week against Leicester, where we were playing the balls through the channels and he was running onto them. It just shows now against better quality, it's not going to happen for them, because Leicester are probably one of the worst teams I've seen at Goodison in a long time, and you could do it against them who were poor at the back. Against a well-drilled Bournemouth team who were flying this season, whichever we would have played yesterday, Beto would have had a poor game. And unfortunately, this is the striker now, until we get the injured players back, who's going to have to see us through these next games coming up against Liverpool. You know, Beto's going to be up against Van Dijk and Konate on Wednesday. I mean, if there's ever a game where we should fuck them long balls off, which crept back into our game yesterday, it's Wednesdays, because we all know when you're a big centre-half, Michael, if you play the balls through the channels, they don't really tend to have much pace. It takes them a couple of strides to build up to their pace that they want to be at. So we've got to play them through balls on Wednesday. For me, it's the only way we beat Liverpool, is get and die on the ball as much as we can. And please, I never want to see Decore in an Everton shirt again. We've got Alcaraz who's come in now. I would start him on Wednesday, as I have no problem starting him. I'd actually played Jack Harrison on Wednesday, and I never thought I'd say that. I thought Lindstrom was back to his poor yesterday. I thought he was poor. There just wasn't anyone yesterday, Michael, against the Bournemouth team. Bearing in mind, it's the FA Cup, you know, a one-off game. There's no one who really stood up yesterday to be counted. And we needed someone yesterday to grab that game by the scruff of the neck early on, and they just didn't do it. And there was only going to be one winner yesterday. I know we had a couple of chances, but for me, if Everton score from the free kick and if we score from Jake O'Brien's header, Bournemouth probably go up the other end and score again, because we made it that easy for them yesterday against, you know, Semenya ripped us a new one all game. And the game plan should have been, he's one of their best players. The game plan should have been man mark him, watch him from the first whistle to the last whistle. The game plan for me yesterday wasn't set up right. I think David Moyes has got a lot to think about from now till Wednesday about taking players out that team, i.e. your Decores, your Lindstroms, and bringing players in who I thought done more yesterday when they come on as a substitute than what the players who had take out on Wednesday, i.e. your Decore and your Lindstroms.
Yeah, there was a bit of bite at times as well, weren't there? You know, when the substitutes come on, I thought like Alcaraz, he was prepared to he was just a bit more aggressive when he was carrying the ball. There was no, you know, he wasn't scared about getting tackled. He wasn't scared about, you know, trying to find a forward pass. At times yesterday, and this wasn't James Garner's fault, because I actually do think James Garner, apart from his crossing, I actually thought James Garner had a good game. And I did think at times in the first half, he was the one that was trying to grab this Everton team. He was tackling back. There was one tackle he put in over the other side of the pitch by the main stand. He's passing the ball forward. I think Decore loses it, and he tracks his man all the way back and puts in a sliding tackle and carries it forward again. I thought James Garner was great in that sense. And I even thought Tim played well when he come on. And this is where, for this Liverpool game, which obviously we'll do the match preview for tomorrow, I actually don't think I'd have an issue starting Tim. He's had minutes now. He's got to be fairly up to speed. I'm not saying he finishes the game against Liverpool, but I'm certainly saying that he should start, because for me, I'd play Tim in there because of his legs, his combative. We need that. We clearly needed that yesterday. And Decore didn't offer that. With Semenyo, their midfield ran through us.
I think what you're seeing from Alcaraz yesterday, he can do what Decore does if he does much, but and more. And I thought, as you quite right pointed out, when Tim come on, I thought he'd done enough to play himself into the plans for Wednesday. I'd have no problem starting Tim Ibrahimovic, and I'd have no problem starting Alcaraz, because again, Alcaraz can do what Decore does, but more. As you quite rightly say, you don't see Decore biting into challenges. You've seen that from Alcaraz. You don't see Decore picking the ball up and running at people. You're seeing it from Alcaraz. He took a great free kick, rattled the woodwork. He just gives us more. From what I seen yesterday from Alcaraz, mate, for the minute he was on the pitch, he gives us more already, in my opinion, than what Decore is ever going to give us again.
The other thing I was going to say, and we'll talk about this in the preview, right? But you mentioned this to me prior about Ndiaye playing up front. Now, you clearly can't ping a ball to Ndiaye because he's not going to win a header against
The thing is, mate, if we play Ndiaye up front, it'll stop them long balls, won't it?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. Ndiaye is quick enough and skillful enough to keep those two centre halves busy. Even if he doesn't score or create something, he just is a nuisance. And for me, I think you'll hear it in my preview, so I'm not going to give too much away, but I've really thought about the way to play against Liverpool. And for me, I have a solid midfield, like a solid, this is one where, you mentioned about Alcaraz. I don't know if I play Alcaraz in this game, not because I don't think he's capable, not because of any dig at him, but just the way that I'm setting up the team in my head, which is really, really fairly defensive, low block, but rapid on the counter-attack and using the pace that we have in that team. Because we don't have a lot of pace, but using it like, Tim can carry the ball out of midfield. And Ndiaye can carry the ball as like a false nine. Alcaraz could also play as a false nine. And for that reason, I probably will still end up starting Lindstrom just because he is fairly quick. I mean, and defensively, he'll put a shift in. But if it was any other game against any other opposition and I felt like we could actually win the game, because I must say, I'm struggling to see Everton getting 3 points on Wednesday, I'd have dropped Lindstrom because I thought he was awful yesterday. But there's no doubt that he will put a shift in defensively.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head for me. I hadn't really thought about it. I know we have mentioned about Ndiaye playing up front, and from Beto's performance yesterday, mate, we can't even say that he was isolated because we're not really isolated up front anymore like we were under the previous manager. I'd have no problem playing Ndiaye. He's fast. He's got a great first touch. He's pacey. He'll run at the likes of Van Dijk and Kanate. He will get in behind them. And as I said, when you were talking about it, then it kills them long high balls. It kills them. So if we can have Ndiaye on the pitch to eradicate them long balls that we started to see again yesterday, I'm for it all day. And I actually think Ndiaye would do a good job up front against these. But again, if we would have kept the run going yesterday and we beat Bournemouth and build on the confidence that we built in the last 3 results, I'd be going into Wednesday a lot more confident. That defeat yesterday has sort of deflated me now, knowing what we're going to be up against in midweek. It's a tough game.
Yeah, it hurt yesterday. It hurt, I must say. And
it was the performance more than anything, mate, because we know this squad of players is capable of more. We've seen it, even from Moyes' first game against Villa. I thought we'd look better then, even though we got beaten. Then we've won 3 on the bounce in the league. And so you could see that this squad of players was capable of more. The previous manager said he felt like he couldn't get any more out of this group. But yet we've said on here, how wrong was he when we've seen what David Moyes has done in 3 weeks?
Well, this group of players also was 2-0 up against Bournemouth. And equally, this group of players, because now we have officially lost to these 3 times this season, because we also lost at their place 1-0. And, when you sit there and you think, we actually had a better defensive performance the second time at Bournemouth. I mean, we were so poor defensively yesterday, and it was, in my opinion, Tarkowski. He was awful. He was awful. I felt like look. We all have bad games, so I'm never going to personally dig him out for it. But he let the team down yesterday because he was so bad. And the other thing, I just want to end on this point, and I get why it happened, but I don't know if I like it. Everton were hitting the post. We hit the post 3 times. We had chances. We definitely should have scored. There was one as well where I think Tim gets it on like a half volley and he puts it over the bar. And again, that for me should be rattling the back of the net. He also had a moment on the edge of the box where he draws 2 players away, gets a shot off. And from where I was sitting, I thought it went in, but it didn't. But the substitution, it didn't confuse me. because he actually did a better job than Beto when he come on, was Michael Keane. He did a better job than Beto when he come on, Michael Keane. He was winning headers. He was winning flick-ons. He hasn't got a step over in the locker. Otherwise, he'd be dangerous. But he left a young lad on the bench, a striker, yet again yesterday. And, you know, the conversation we've had before about moments to play youngsters. You're 2-0 down. It's the 87th minute or whenever it was. I don't get not bringing that youngster on yesterday. I don't get it. Because let's be honest, the game felt gone. And a youngster putting a shift in over Michael Keane, who we know is going to win headers, I just think for the fact that we were 2-0 down, I think I'd have rather seen a youngster. It's not a dig at Michael Keane. He did fine when he come on. But I think personally, I would have liked to have seen the youngster come on. Martin Sheriff, I think his name is.
It's a perfect opportunity to bring one of the young players on, you know, an FA Cup game. Yeah, granted, we were 2-0 down. But at Goodison, you know, it's a perfect example to give him a little sniff of what it's like. And yeah, I get that, you know. There's more chance of Sheriff doing something probably than a Michael Keane to try and get us back in the game and give us a grandstand finish. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
I just thought some of the substitutions were okay. Bringing Tim on and bringing Alcaraz on, I see why he done it. And he did work. We did look better when he made them changes.
The only thing I thought yesterday was Alcaraz should have come on at half time for Decorah. That's what I thought it should have happened at half time.
We need to stop this loving now with certain players. You know, we're seeing it from Sean Dyche, and I'm not going to say we're seeing it massively from David Moyes, because as I say, he's been in the building 3 weeks, but the loving we have with playing players who are not in form, as in Decorah, when there's players on the bench who could come on or start the game, as in a Tim, even if you start him, Michael, and give him an hour instead of Decorah, or, you know, he said in his press conference the other day he's seen enough of Alcaraz in training to tell him that he was ready to play, he was match fit and stuff like that. It's an FA Cup game. Bournemouth made changes. I don't see why we couldn't have made a couple more changes, and to see if it was going downhill after an hour, then you bring players in to see it, who you took out, the likes of your Decorahs and your Lindstroms and stuff like that. But I just thought that the team that he picked yesterday, I thought would have given a better account of themselves against the Bournemouth team who'd made a couple of changes. So for me, that's why it's disappointing for me. You know, I didn't see enough in the first half to convince me that them players are playing with confidence after the last couple of results we've had. It just seemed to fall flat on its arse yesterday, especially the first 45.
Yeah, completely agree. And the thing is, you stick with Decorah. Decorah scored 1 goal all season, so he's playing he's playing like a 10, but he hasn't got a goal in him. I just find it mad.
It's not good enough, is it?
No, it's not. But look, we'll leave it there, because I mean, we could literally go on about this game over and over again. People have got their Sundays. We're doing a short debrief today, John. I think that's best. So, unless you've got anything to add, mate, I've got nothing. But disappointed. Match preview tomorrow, and hopefully I can work out in my head how I want my front three to play, because I've got my midfield and my defence and my goalkeeper, but I'm racking my head out to work out the front three.
Yeah, it's nothing to add apart from I just don't see what he changes on Wednesday. We know what changes we'd like to see, and we know we'd like to see Ndiaye possibly up front. Alcaraz come on as a false 9, start Tim. I think if them changes happened, I think the players who were taken out for them changes to be made, it's deserved in my opinion, because the performance yesterday from some of them players, for me, I say it again, after the run we've been on, was nothing short of shocking, and it's disappointed me a lot, that result yesterday.
Yeah. Cool. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We are flying towards 14.9 thousand, so get on it. Again, big shout out to the people that come over to me and John yesterday. We had lots of love in the Weatherspoons and walking to the ground and in the hub. We always do, so thank you so much. And yeah, John, we'll leave it there. Make sure you keep smiling, mate, and enjoy being the clown at the kids' party this afternoon. Right, see you soon. Peace.